Dear fellow doctors, families, friends, deans, faculty, and trustees, it is my great honor today to stand here and deliver this speech. I'm honored by this level of trust from my fellow students. I want to thank the Graduate Student Council for giving me this opportunity to stand here. I feel obliged to give you my most authentic story. Based on my experience, PhD students tend to underestimate their achievements because we're high achievers. We always look at the next goal, the next project, or the next challenge while ignoring how far we have gone and how much we have accomplished. But today, I want to invite you to look back and see what an amazing job you have done. Brown is the most prestigious university I have ever attended. The first semester was a mixture of pride and self-doubt. I was proud because I got into the PhD program I dreamed of. I was self-doubting because everyone just seemed to be better than me here. My heart beats fast when I speak in classes and lab meetings, and sometimes I just felt I should have remained silent because my words are not valuable to others. But 6 years later, I was able to defend my dissertation confidently in front of a room of experts, just like what each of you did. So please let me say congratulations, congratulations, and congratulations to my fellow doctors. People say getting a PhD is hard because of the intellectual challenge. I would say that the intellectual challenge is really just part of the deal. Many of us came from a very different culture, including me. I came from a city called Zhengzhou in China. To use a computer game reference, it's like playing a hard game in a hard mode. If you're also an international student who came from a very different culture, you know exactly what I mean. You know the feeling of frequently explaining yourself to others. You know the feeling of being misunderstood. You know the feeling of missing your family, your friends, and even just the food you're familiar with. Some of us reached their 30s at Brown. Like me, you probably wonder at one point, why am I still in school? You probably witnessed the success of your friends outside of the school while feeling stagnant or trapped in yourself. Some of us are parents, and I cannot even imagine the challenges they were facing. While the rest of us receive support from our family, they are the ones who provided to theirs. To the parents, well, maybe you're not an international student, and you're not in your 30s, good. And you're not a parent, but each one of us have faced moments of challenge. Perhaps you have felt the entire world collapsed after a meeting. Or perhaps you have felt you have no future after getting a bad result from research. Have you ever procrastinated because you have so much work to do and you feel exhausted just by thinking of it? If you do, my friend, you can proudly say to yourself today, you survived. And please give yourself a round of applause for that. Many of us have hobbies that keep us going in this marathon. I like riding my bike. I remember when I first started biking here, I got yelled at by a driver on the road. He was telling me to get off the road using the F word. I felt humiliated. And since then, every time I hear a car honking at me or a driver yelling at me, I feel angry and defensive. And sometimes I respond by flipping my hand in the air and look at the driver with a scowl so that I don't feel vulnerable. One day I was driving on the road and saw someone biking on my side. I was thinking, here's my chance to show support to my fellow cyclists. So I rolled down the window and shouted, "Allez, allez!" the universal cheering language in the cycling world. However, this was probably the last thing I expected. He flipped his hand in the air and looked at me with a scowl, as if he were saying, "What is wrong with you?" The wind was very loud at that speed, so he probably thought, I'm one of those drivers who hate cyclists and greets them with F words. Well, have I also been one of those cyclists who misinterpreted friendly cheerings from drivers as hostility? How many positive experiences may I have missed just because my fear of feeling vulnerable? Looking back in my life and things that have happened in the world, I realized the fear of feeling vulnerable has never done good. It makes us shut down the channel of communication, become less tolerant to uncertainty, and start to perceive others using stereotypes. And in many cases, it also leads to aggression and even violence. The pandemic made people feel vulnerable. Then hate crime against Asian communities soared. Maybe some people cannot accept the fact that a virus can still threaten their life in the 21st century. So they use hate to create a narrative to themselves that this is all somebody else's fault. If they understood we, as humans, are still vulnerable in front of Mother Nature, they would feel not hate, but empathy and compassion. What do we do when everyone feels cold? We don't hate each other. We hug and warm each other. That's what we do. Yes. In my own journey at Brown, I realized that if I abandon fear and stay true to myself and others, eventually vulnerability leads to courage and strength. Every time I go to a dissertation defense, I always show support to the speaker by giving affirming looks and loud applauses, because I know how much that person has to go through to stand on that stage. When I became the person on the stage, I felt the same support from others. And I wouldn't have felt that if I always feel invincible. And, sorry. Vulnerability connects us. Yes, I was nervous during my dissertation, and I am nervous right now, but allowing myself feeling this way reminds me that everyone has been through the same, and I am not alone. Vulnerability really connects us because we all have been through a tough time. It gives us the foundation to trust and support each other. On the topic of trust and support, we all have people we want to thank who helped us get to this moment. My mom raised me by herself. I cannot describe how much sacrifice she has made to support my education. She saw every little progress I made along the way, and she can understand the meaning of this degree to me better than anyone. Right now, she's probably watching remotely from China. I just want to say to her,谢谢你，妈妈。Using my favorite quote from the movie Rocky Balboa, it ain't about how hard you hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. My dear fellow doctors, you have now earned the highest degree in education. Moving forward, exactly. Moving forward, we will face a world full of uncertainty. I hope you maintain a strong, trusting heart, a heart that can still feel vulnerable, a heart that is open and tolerant to uncertainty, a heart that can relate to people who are still suffering in the world. You have the power to change the world. Now go and do it. Best of luck, class 2022.